Hi, good evening viewers. You're watching Sansad Television and this is the news with me, Rashika. Before we begin with details of today's national and international news, a look at the headlines of the day. Prime Minister launches projects worth over 3,400 crore in Surat, inaugurates development initiatives in Bhavnagar. Congress tries to resolve Rajasthan crisis. Ashok Gehlot apologizes to Sonia Gandhi. Digvijay Singh and Shashi Tharoor to contest party president election. Supreme Court rules that all women have a safe and legal abortion under MTP Act, calls distinction between married and unmarried women unconstitutional. Government conducts anti-smuggling raids under Operation Garood. 175 accused arrested in CBI and NCB action. 127 cases filed in 8 states. 4 separatist regions of Ukraine to join Russia on Friday. President Vladimir Putin to preside over ceremony in Kremlin. Ukraine and Western nations condemn referendums. A quick look now at some other important news of the day. Sabka Prayas can make India developed and during Amrit Kal of 25 years, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. India's global image transformed due to bold decisions taken by Prime Minister Modi and gallant deeds of armed forces, says Rajnath Singh. On World Heart Day, Health Minister Mandavia appeals to people to adopt healthy lifestyle to live a heart-healthy life. At G20 meet in Bali, Agriculture Minister Tomar asserts government committed to the benefit of small and marginal farmers. India pursuing relationship with China built on mutual sensitivity, respect and interest, says Jaishankar. COVID vaccine Amrit Mahotsav campaign to conclude. Government appeals to eligible beneficiaries to take free precaution dose. Coal India Limited to introduce conveyor belts in open cast coal projects to reduce emission and ensure safe transportation. Government approves 22nd tranche of electoral bonds. Sale to open from 1st October. SBI to issue an in-cash bonds. Myanmar junta court sentences ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi to 3 years in jail under the State Secrets Act. British Prime Minister Liz Truss defends her economic policies, says UK needs to take immediate steps to keep economy dynamic and tackle inflation. Now news in detail. Surat will emerge as the safest and most convenient diamond trading hub in the world once the Dream City project is completed, Prime Minister Modi said today. The Dream City refers to the Diamond Research and Mercantile City project. He said this while addressing a rally in Surat after laying the foundation stone and inaugurating a host of projects worth Rs 3,400 crore. He added that in the last 20 years, Surat has progressed by leaps and bounds. The Prime Minister also said that many families are dependent on the diamond and textile industries of Surat. Prime Minister Modi said that Surat will grow at the faster pace in the coming days thanks to the double-engine government.
सूरत 4P का उदाहरण है। 4P यानी पीपल्स, पब्लिक, प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप। यही मॉडल सूरत को विशेष बनाता है।
Prime Minister Modi inaugurated phase 1 of road infrastructure works and the main entrance of Diamond Research and Mercantile City. He also laid the foundation stone of phase 2 of the project. Prime Minister is on a 2-day visit to his home state, Gujarat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the port of Bhavnagar will play a big role in building a self-reliant India. Launching several development projects worth over 5,200 crore rupees, he said that hundreds of new jobs will be created following the expansion of warehousing, transportation and logistic business in Bhavnagar. He lamented that although Gujarat has the longest coastline in the country, no attention was paid for its development for decades post-independence. However, he said that the BJP government in Gujarat made honest attempts in the last 20 years to turn it into the country's door of prosperity.
वेलावदर नेशनल पार्क में इको टूरिज्म से जुड़े सर्किट का लाभ भी भावनगर को होने वाला है। विशेष रूप से छोटे छोटे जो बिजनेसमैन है, छोटे छोटे कारोबारी है, व्यापारी है, उनको विशेष लाभ होने वाला है। भाइयों और बहनों, सौराष्ट्र में किसानों और मछुआरों दोनों के जीवन में पिछले 2 दशकों में बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आया है।
Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the 36th National Games at a grand opening ceremony in Ahmedabad today. The PM mounted an open-top motor vehicle adorned with the branding of the National Games and the mascot Savage and took a lap around the stadium. The ceremony was an extravaganza of music, dance and culture. Addressing the crowd at the sprawling Narendra Modi Stadium, Prime Minister Modi said that the largest stadium in the world is hosting the largest sports event for the nation with the youngest population. Prime Minister Modi said that the Sardar Patel Sports Complex has the facility for many sports like football, hockey, basketball, kabaddi, boxing and lawn tennis at the same time. Gujarat is hosting the National Games for the first time. It will begin today and will continue till 12th October. Nearly 7,000 athletes from across the country will participate in 36 sporting disciplines, making it the biggest national games ever.
अगर आपको कंपटीशन जीतना है तो आपको कमिटमेंट और कंटिन्यूटी को जीना सीखना होगा। खेलों में हार जीत को कभी भी हमें आखिरी नहीं मानना चाहिए।
And in other news, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has announced that he will not contest the Congress presidential polls, taking moral responsibility for the political crisis in his state. Making the announcement after meeting party president Sonia Gandhi at her residence, Gehlot said he apologized to her for the developments in Rajasthan. Asked if he will continue as Chief Minister, Gehlot said Sonia Gandhi will decide on the issue.
कल परसों की घटना हुई है और मेरी मॉरल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी कि वो प्रताप पार होता, तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा। ये मेरा फैसला है। ये फैसला मैं नहीं करूंगा, ये फैसला सोनिया गांधी नहीं करेगी, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करेगी।
Senior Congress leader Digvijay Singh will file his nomination for the Congress president election on Friday. Singh arrived in Delhi late Wednesday night, leaving the Bharat Jodo Yatra midway. He collected the nomination papers today for the party president's election. The move comes on the day Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot announced that he will not contest the Congress presidential polls. The notification for the election to the post of AICC president will issue on 22nd on September. The process for filing nomination began on 24th and will conclude tomorrow. 8th October is the last date for withdrawal of nominations. The election will take place on 17th October and results will be declared on 19th October.
I represent myself.
What you have to say, you will file your nomination at what time tomorrow? At what time tomorrow, sir?
Well, the timing is between 11 and 3.
And moving on, in a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court said that all women are entitled to safe and legal abortion till 24 weeks of pregnancy under the medical termination of pregnancy. The Apex Court ruled that any distinction on the basis of their marital status is constitutionally unsustainable. A bench of justices, D.Y. Chandrachud, J.B. Pardiwala and A.S. Bopana said that rights of reproductive autonomy give similar rights to unmarried women. Under the MTP Act provisions, the upper limit for the termination of pregnancy is 24 weeks of married women. Special categories including survivors of rape, differently abled and minors. However, the time period is 20 weeks for widows and unmarried women. The top court also said that the meaning of offence of rape must include marital rape for the purpose of the MTP Act. The CBI launched a major crackdown against drug cartels in the country in coordination with the NCB, Interpol and police in several states. 175 alleged drug peddlers have been arrested, while 127 FIRs have been filed by the agencies under the Operation Garud. The CBI said that the operation started earlier this week to disrupt, degrade and dismantle drug networks with international linkages with the help of Interpol. Police of 8 states and union territories, including Punjab, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Maharashtra and the Narcotics Control Bureau, tracked around 6,600 suspects during the operation. The agencies targeted smuggling of illicit drugs and psychotropic substances with a special focus on the Indian Ocean region. The Indian Council for Cultural Relations and Google have collaborated to improve and extend the Sanskrit translation experience. ICCR and Google signed an agreement to improve Google's artificial intelligence and machine learning language technology for translation of Sanskrit text to various other languages and vice versa. The exchange of MOUs took place in the presence of ICCR President Dr. Vinay Shastrabuddhe today. Deputy Director General of ICCR Rajiv Kumar, Director General of ICCR Ambassador Kumar Tuhin and Google India Research Head Manish Gupta were also present at the event.
Mission of Indian Council for Cultural Relations is to make the global community understand Indian culture in general with all its nuances and all the traditions and the heritage part of our linguistic traditions kind of. And therefore, to make it happen, it is very required that the ancient languages in India, and Sanskrit is considered as one of the most ancient language perhaps.
While Google has this mission of organizing the world's information, we saw very significant gaps between the capabilities that many of these Google products have in languages like English versus the capabilities in Indian languages. Sanskrit has a very, very special place in our hearts. So we really thank ICCR for these wonderful initiatives to promote the language, to promote our culture, our heritage globally.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that India and the United States do not share a narrow relationship only devoted to bilateral gains, but the one that impacts the rest of the world. He said that the world's 2 largest democracies have recognized that this is a relationship of great capacity and potential, and there is still a lot of room for it to grow. Addressing the media as he concluded his 4-day official trip to Washington, Jaishankar said that India-US ties definitely impact the Indo-Pacific region. Jaishankar also reiterated that overall the India-US ties are in a good place. And now look at other news from across the nation. President Draupadi Murmu said India has emerged on the world stage with a new self-confidence and that they are looking at our country with new admiration. Addressing a group of officer trainees of the Indian Foreign Service 2021 batch who had called on her at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today, she said India's leadership in several fields has become unchallenged now. On a 2-day visit to forward areas in the northeast, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed the defence preparedness in 3rd Corps in Arunachal Pradesh and Dinajan in Assam. The minister was briefed on infrastructure and development along the line of actual control, as well as the capability development and operation preparedness. Rajnath Singh said that the armed forces are fully equipped and ready to defend the country from all threats. 5 years after a batch of petitions first raised concerns about the privacy standards followed by WhatsApp for its users in India, the Supreme Court has said it will start hearing the cases on January 17, 2023. The court said this would also be a reasonable time for the legislator to enact a law on the issue. The government said today it is deferring until October 2023 the implementation of norms mandating 6 airbags in all cars, giving the industry a 1-year extension. The decision comes despite the government's prioritization of passenger safety irrespective of vehicle cost or variance, said Union Minister for Transport Nitin Gadkari, citing global supply chain constraints as reason for the shift in the decision. Markets regulator SEBI has barred the Apex Global and its proprietor Yadunath Singh Thakur from securities markets for 4 years and directed them to refund money collected from investors through unauthorized investment advisory services. India has leapfrogged to 40th position on the Global Innovation Index 2022 from the 81st spot in 2015, the government said today. The country has ranked 46th on the index last year. Now time for a short break in the bulletin. Stay tuned for more news on the other side.
सिक्किम में एक ऐसा स्कूल है जहां पढ़ाने वाले टीचर लोमस धुंगेल कचरे से पैसा बना रहे हैं और उन पैसों से गरीब बच्चों की फीस भरी जा रही है।
2015 में छोटा सा एक प्रोजेक्ट स्टैब्लिश किया था और ये माका सिक्किम अगेंस्ट पॉल्यूशन जो खाके जो जिसका रिसेल वैल्यू नहीं होता है स्टिच करके रोल बनाया जाए।
Since 17 years we are looking after the children here and almost 400 plus children are gone from this institution. And we give them food, education, shelter, clothes, medical aid.
आपको क्या लगता है कि अगले 25 वर्षों में कौन से बड़े मुद्दे होने वाले हैं हमारे देश के सामने?
भारत दुनिया का सबसे युवा देश, स्टार्टअप्स में आप देखिए वंडर्स कर रहे हैं। हम अगर इस देश की युवा एनर्जी को चैनलाइज कर देंगे तो कोई भी टारगेट हमारे लिए असंभव नहीं है। आपके सांसद में देखिए मेरी बात संसद टीवी के साथ शुक्रवार शाम 7:30 बजे।
Welcome back to the news. Now time for all the updates from the Russia-Ukraine region. Russia will formally annex 4 occupied Ukrainian regions on Friday. Russian President Vladimir Putin will attend a ceremony tomorrow in the Kremlin when 4 regions of Ukraine will be officially folded into Russia. Putin's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that pro-Moscow administrators of the region will sign treaties to join Russia during the ceremony at the Kremlin's St. George's Hall. The move comes after Russia declared victory in the referendums to join Russia held in the 4 regions. The United States and its Western allies have sharply condemned the votes as sham and vowed never to recognize their results. Russia attacked a school in eastern Ukrainian town of Mykolaievka on Wednesday, killing the 63-year-old woman guard of the school. About 15 people were in the basement of the school, including 2 children and 1 disabled person, when the strike made impact. Rescue workers and firefighters got people out of the basement and searched for hours in the rubble. The school building was being used as a shelter by the locals. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made several phone calls to world leaders on Wednesday to garner support. He spoke to leaders of Britain, Canada, Germany and Turkey to press for his demands for more military aid and tougher sanctions against Russia. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz told him that Berlin's support for Ukraine would not waver. After speaking to British Prime Minister Liz Truss, Zelensky tweeted that defense and financial aid to Ukraine must be enhanced in response. He added that he also spoke with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres about Ukraine's grain exports. US will impose more economic cost on Moscow over sham referendums in occupied regions of Ukraine, the US State Department said on Wednesday. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said that the US will continue to work with allies and partners to bring even more pressure on Russia. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre said The measures would include penalties on individuals and entitles both inside and outside of Russia that support the annexation. The US has announced an additional aid worth $1.1 billion to Ukraine. This includes funding for about 18 more advanced rocket systems and other weapons to counter drones that Russia has been using against Ukraine. The latest package is being provided under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which funds contracts to purchase weapons and equipment. The funding is aimed at helping Ukraine secure its longer-term defense needs. With this, the total US aid to Ukraine stands at $17 billion since the Biden administration took office. And now news from other parts of the globe. Former Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi was convicted in another criminal case on Thursday by a military court in Myanmar. It also sentenced Australian economist Sean Turnell to 3 years in prison for violating Myanmar's Official Secrets Act. Suu Kyi has already been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment in other cases. Here is our detailed report.
A Myanmar court on Thursday convicted Aung San Suu Kyi again and sentenced Australian economist Sean Turnell to 3 years in prison for breaking secrecy laws. Suu Kyi received a 3-year sentence after being tried and convicted with Turnell under the Secrets Law. 3 members of her cabinet were also found guilty, each receiving sentences of 3 years. Turnell, an associate professor in economics at Sydney's Macquarie University, had served as an advisor to Suu Kyi. He was detained in the capital Naypyidaw when her elected government was ousted by the army on 1st February 2021. Turnell and Suu Kyi denied the allegations when they testified in their defense at the trial in August. The case that concluded Thursday was one of several faced by Suu Kyi and was widely seen as an effort to discredit her to prevent her return to politics. She had already been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment after being convicted of illegally importing and possessing walkie-talkies, violating coronavirus restrictions, sedition, election fraud and 5 corruption charges. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
US Vice President Kamala Harris said North Korea is a country with a brutal dictatorship, an illegal arms program and rampant human rights violation, issuing unusually strong criticism during a visit to the inter-Korean border on Thursday. Take a look.
In her first visit to the demilitarized zone separating the two Koreas, US Vice President Kamala Harris said the heavily armed border area offered a stark reminder of the dramatically different paths the two sides have taken. Harris was in the demilitarized zone after arriving in the South Korean capital of Seoul early on Thursday, amid simmering regional tensions over North Korea's missile launches, China's actions in the Taiwan Strait, and military drills by the United States and South Korea. The visit by Harris to staunch US ally South Korea comes amid fears that North Korea is about to conduct a nuclear test. South Korean officials say North Korea has completed preparations for what would be its 7th nuclear test since 2006 and its first since 2017. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Now more global news in our World Wrap. 6 adults were shot and wounded at a school campus in East Oakland, California. The shooting took place at around 12:45 p.m. on Wednesday at Rootsdale Newcomer High School. The school's website says it serves new immigrants aged 16 to 21 who fled violence and instability in their home countries. Officials have not said if any of the victims might be students aged 18 or older. An Iranian drone bombing campaign in northern Iraq on Wednesday killed at least 9 people and wounded 32 others. The strikes took place as demonstrations continued to engulf the Islamic Republic after the death of Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old Iranian Kurdish woman who was detained by the Iranian morality police. Observers said Iran was targeting Kurdish areas over the protest following Amini's death. A 4th leak on the Nord Stream pipelines was reported off southern Sweden on Thursday. Two of the leaks are on the Nord Stream 1 pipeline that recently stopped supplying gas, while the other two are on Nord Stream 2 that never started operating. The Nord Stream pipeline runs through the Baltic to transport gas from Russia to Germany. The Danish and Swedish governments believe the leaks were deliberate actions. Mandatory quarantine for arrivals in Taiwan will officially end in mid-October, beginning 13th of October. Passengers who arrive in Taiwan are only required to do rapid tests upon arrival and are free to take public transportation if the test results are negative. Under the new scheme, arrivals will instead be instructed to begin self-health monitoring for 7 days. Taiwan has been one of the few countries in the world to continue enforcing a quarantine for all arrivals throughout the course of the pandemic. An outbreak of Ebola was reported in the Ugandan town of Mubende. The town clinic is believed to have treated the first confirmed patient, a 24-year-old boy who later caught the virus. Many health facilities are cautious of patients who come with high temperatures, fearing they might be carrying the deadly virus. Now, time for all the latest from the world of sports. In what could be a huge blow to India's hopes at the upcoming Icc T20 World Cup in Australia, Premier paceman Jasprit Bumrah is set to be ruled out of the tournament with a back stress fracture. India defeated South Africa by 8 wickets on a testing pitch in Thiruvananthapuram to take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. Indian bowlers restricted the visitors to 106 for 8 and the home batters then overhauled the total with 20 balls to spare. On a greenish pitch, Indian pacers proved to be a handful for the South African batsmen. With South Africa 5 down for 9 at one stage, Arshdeep Singh took 3 wickets, Deepak Chahar and Harshal Patel had 2 scalps each. Kumar Yadav and KL Rahul each hit an undefeated half-century to take India home in what seemed a tricky chase. Surya scored 50 of 33 balls with 5 boundaries and 3 sixes, while Rahul made 51 of 56 balls and 2 fours and 4 sixes. Kumar surpasses Shikhar Dhawan as the highest scorer for India in the shortest format in a calendar year. Surya now has 732 runs in 2022 with 45 sixes in 2022. Surya also now holds the world record for highest number of sixes in T20 International in a year. That's all in today's bulletin. Stay tuned to Sansad Television for the latest updates. Good night.